Hey everyone, this is Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packers content. Go Packers.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Green Bay Packers this evening. Talk specifically about the Senior Bowl. We're talking Shrine Bowl. We're talking a little Packers on the side as well, as we've got a couple of comments here in the Patreon group. And if we have time, we're going to do a mock draft, and we're going to do a mock draft where we can actually trade around a little bit and specifically try to trade back in the first round. So if we get time, we will hit that as a little exercise. Gents, how we doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It was, again, almost like summer weather in Wisconsin.
I will second everything Jacob just said. It was 64, and I was sweating, and it was a good day.
Heck yeah. And you notice the days are getting longer every day. I love it.
Dude, I felt like I was able to work till 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. We were getting it done.
Exactly. I just noticed Emilio's name up there, Jacob. You take a peek at that. There you go. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's jump into the Patreon group real quick. We got a lot to cover if we're going to get everything done. So that means I got to stay on topic, which probably won't happen. Shout out to Ron Samble in our Patreon group. He had a comment here. He said, I know it's common for teammates to talk positive about each other in interviews, but X went way above and beyond that when asked about Quay Walker, saying, write it down, he will be the best in the league. Is there that much more that we don't see on tape that X feels that way? I think you hit the nail on the head, Ron. Teammates are always going to try to build their teammates up. The thing about Quay, though, he did show some improvement this year, right? I think we would all agree on that. Was it to the level where you think, okay, he deserves top 5 linebacker money? Absolutely not. I'm sure, Ron, you probably agree with that. And, I think this is more of X just being a good teammate. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Quay comes out this year, everything clicks, and he's ready to go. I think something that's really going to push Quay Walker along is obviously the arrival of Edgerrin Cooper, But what do you guys think about that right there?
Yeah, I think I'll take it because I've been kind of supporting Quay there when people were dogging on him. I think that, he really does get it. He's had the doubt on him for a few years now. Just kind of ripping that centerpiece away seems just tough. And like how we said, even if we brought him back as a baseline and moved on from there. But yeah, I do think that Quay can be great, but I do see where you're saying, you're going to say that about your buddy and all that. So I totally hear both sides.
Yeah. I want to believe it. I want to believe that it's not just like quote unquote coach speak or anything like that. But like J. Cole says, I'd be shocked if a teammate came out and said, yeah, that guy sucks.
Right.
Which would make, I'm glad he didn't do that. But, at the same time, we did see Quay's played his best ball towards the end of the year there. And who knows, maybe it's a guy, if an Xavier ends up taking over a Green Dot or Edgerrin and just allows him to play a little more just within his natural ability, if maybe he doesn't have to worry about being the main guy on that defense, if X takes that over, if Edge takes that over, and they decide that, hey, he's just another puzzle piece, we let him just use his natural athletic ability, maybe he does find a great niche.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. And also shout out to Greg S. shared a link that says connect.zebra.com, and it says / Senior Bowl insights, and it says here is all the data getting collected on the Senior Bowl players' play speed and some other interesting metrics. I don't want to put it on the screen in case someone, would get upset that we clicked on the website, something I haven't seen yet. I appreciate that, Greg. We'll make sure we check that out. If it's got like their clock speed, the fastest players on the practice field, right, that's definitely something we're checking into. So, like I said, Greg, thank you so much for sharing that, buddy. All right, let's get into some other news here. Let's go rapid fire. We're going to have to go quick on this because there's a lot. This is Easton Butler on Twitter. Everybody go give him a follow at Easton__Butler. Gave us a flurry of players that met with the Packers once again this week, whether it's the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl. Packers met with UCF cornerback B.J. Adams. All right. BJ, Adam, if you guys got anything you want to add to these players as I go through, I'm just going to list them off. Just cut me off and tell me if you like them, hate them. Don't say you hate them or not. Just say if you like them. Okay, let's go that route.
278 on our board with a 207 score. He has the cheese emblem now. We'll see what he does.
Let's go. Yeah, so let's if you don't care, Emilio, let's do that on each of these. We can do it real quick. All right. Just look them up. And if they're not on there, some of them I added. Here's Oklahoma State linebacker Nick Martin that the Packers met with at the Senior Bowl, according to Easton Butler. On Nick Martin. He's on there.
Martin was 364 for us with an average score of 303.
Got it. All right. So lower prospect, obviously. Packers also met with Miami offensive lineman Jalen Rivers, Jalenrivers, at the Senior Bowl. Jalen Rivers.
204 on our board with an average of 154.8. And they were talking about him on that PFF podcast that they were, surprised by how well he played. I think that they moved him inside, tackle the guard. They were possibly thinking top 10 guard, or interior sort of player.
Got it. Love it. All right. Next, Northern Illinois safety Nate Valcarcel, however you say it, Valcarcel.
He is in the bunch with everybody else that doesn't have a score but has met with the Packers.
Got it. Good deal. Defensive back Ridge Texada met with the Cardinals at the College Gridiron. That ain't nobody for us. I apologize for that. So he's breaking news for other teams too, man. I'll tell you, Easton Butler on it, dude. Packers met with Northern Illinois D-back Javon Bird. Again, it's Javaugghn.
Same. We got a few in that file that we still got to get grades on.
Got it. What he's talking about is, as the Packers are visiting with some of these players, they don't even have a grade on our board because they're so far down the board. Some of them being the 4, 5, 600s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is listing them, and we're going to go back and get a grade for them if at all possible. For sure. So,
right.
Yeah. All right. Looks like Jake got the wrong link, didn't he? Let me take care of that real quick. Yeah. Can one of you boys? I'll do it right now. Hold on just a second. I apologize, guys.
So Ja Joyner, we're looking at right now. Correct. He's the next one on. Minnesota Edge. We have him at 247 and his average grade of a 182. So he's kind of hanging around Mac Williams, who we've also met with, and Nazir Stackhouse, who we've met with.
Got it. You should have it now, Jake. Next prospect. Packers met with Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals. Boys, I'm telling you, this is a dude that I kind of feel like he's one of about 3 or 4 wide receivers I think the Packers really have on their radar. So I'm excited to see who goes after him, where he ends up. We got Jake Shavink joining us now, the draft robot. What's up, Jake? How you doing, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's up, Shavink?
You been doing okay?
Yes. Brought the sunscreen this year, so we're in the clear. Okay,
Nice.
No issues there, at least.
Awesome.
So that's great news. But excited to join you. It's been fun. Listen to you guys dive into draft so early already. It's been a lot of fun. So excited to be here and join.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. We're going to go rapid fire through these updates on who the Packers have been interested in, and then we'll get your takeaways because you're at the Senior Bowl, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal.
And Jalen Royals, we had him at a 73, 69 overall average grade, and met with the cheese.
There you go. All right, got it. Next, you got Miami. This is going to piss people off. Miami kicker Andy Borregales, I think is how you say the name, met with a total of 28 teams at the Shrine Bowl, including the Packers. So it's not like this was an exclusive interview or anything. Obviously,
he's in the pile.
Yeah. And again, everybody is on the Brandon McManus train there. I feel comfortable saying that. If they go another rookie route, I think heads are going to roll. I'm just saying, boy, it got pretty nasty there a couple of years ago. LSU running back Josh Williams met with the following teams at the Shrine Bowl: Eagles, Broncos, Steelers, Lions, Patriots, Jaguars, and the Packers. So LSU running back Josh Williams there, Emilio. Do we have him on the board? I think I at least added him.
Josh Williams is in the pile as well.
All right, cool. Got to get a grade for him. News that Easton Butler talked about. The Steelers are expected to cut edge Preston Smith. So Goody cooked once again, right? got a pick for someone who isn't even getting re-signed. We'll talk there with Nick Martin. Here we go. Colorado School of Mines long snapper Josh. Jake, how do you say his name right there?
Oh, see that one. I'm not sure. That's there's a lot
I
going
swear
on.
I want to say
there.
Oaxacawitz. That's what it feels like. Oaxacawitz.
That could work. That could work.
I like it.
Nobody knows who he is anyway. We could just say
He needs
that.
to go on the
That's, I
board.
mean, that's a really good way of pronouncing it. I kind of like it.
I think
you
that
know?
sounds right. Either
Pretty
or that
clean.
or Wakisevich. No, that wouldn't work.
Keith,
It's
that
just
sounds
dude.
right.
That could work too, actually.
All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Appreciate it. All right, Easton Butler said the Packers met with Iowa State wide receiver Jaden Higgins.
And
So I think
Tim's
we both-
not here.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
man.
I'll beat Tim. Yeah, that's right.
That's
We're
where
gonna
Tim-
win.
Oh,
That's where Tim's at. He hacked Easton Butler's account tonight. That's where he's at right now. So, Emilio, where's Jaden Higgins at on our board?
our boy Jaden Higgins is sitting at 37th currently with a 41.8 average.
Jake, how do you feel about where we got him at, man? Do you got him much higher, much lower? Where do you got Jaden Higgins sitting? Just and you don't have to give your exact location, but kind of where do you see him going in the draft, man?
Yeah, I feel like second round is a pretty good estimation right now. Yeah, it's hard. He's a bigger guy, right? You know, you play a little physical at these things, so he's been doing a nice job with that. I think, yeah, when it comes to big body, catches everything, does enough to get open. That feels kind of like your day two guy. He feels a lot like Michael Pittman Jr. from a few years ago. It's that kind of profile, like the big body, but enough twitch where you can get open. So
Got it.
there's many reasons to like him. So, and I see why Tim's on board for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. 2-0 for this says Mike Wazowski. That was the name.
There you go.
Some of you guys got that. Packers met with Iowa State wide receiver Jalen Noel, Emilio. That's JAYLINNOEL at the Senior Bowl. That was per Gary Wolf.
131 with a 106.3.
Got it. 131 with the 106.3. Got it. Appreciate it. Next, you've got UCF cornerback Mac McWilliams. He met with the Packers and the Bengals at the Senior Bowl. Where's Mac McWilliams at? And then
Mac, he was around somebody else here.
I'm trying to remember. I was thinking he was a little lower, but the
Yeah,
Packers
he was down by Nazir Stackhouse. We had him at 242.
242. What do you think about him, Jake? And does he have some versatility? Am I thinking right? Can he play in the slot, or is he making?
Yeah, I think he can do both. He was getting a lot of punt return stuff in as well today, looking pretty smooth with that. So, yeah, I think teams are going to give him a lot of special teams looks as well as playing potentially either inside or out at corner. I think he did get a decent bit of slot reps when they were doing full team. So
got it. Good stuff. Good stuff. And now that Keyshawn Nixon's going to be cornerback one and not returning kicks, this makes all the sense in the world.
there you go. Yeah.
Kansas State, somebody just unsubbed to the channel. Kansas State cornerback Jacob Parrish met with 13 teams, including the Packers. That's cornerback Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State.
183 with an average of 142.
Got it. Good stuff.
He's right next to Kobe Bryant. Actually, we had Kobe Bryant at 180.
Kobe. Easton Butler also tweeted out the Packers met with Florida State kicker Ryan Fitzgerald. So he's definitely combing through the ranks there looking for a potential kicker, man. That's going to be interesting. The Packers also met with – go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry.
He is right next to B.J. Adams at 352, 285 average.
Yeah, and it seems like there's one kicker that's most likely going to get drafted. I think he was in the top 100 of the consensus big board. Does that sound right to you, Jacob? Anybody? Wasn't there a kicker? Or am I thinking wrong? That was like somewhere in the upper 90s, lower 100, right around the 100 mark on the consensus big board. Any idea? No.
Nah. Well,
Not
the
sure.
highest one for PFF is Ryan Fitzgerald.
Is it?
Out of
Okay.
FSU. Yeah.
All right, let me go to consensus big board real quick and see.
I think I know what you're talking about, though, Clay.
Hey, it's actually Andres Borregales from Miami
Okay.
at 101 at the consensus big board. So, and this is as high as he's ever been. High on the board, not high, but he's peaked at 101. All right, that's where he's sitting right now. So, yeah, everybody driving that stock way up on him for sure. Jake's wondering why he got on here now. Packers met with Bowling Green tight end Harold Fannin Jr. Obviously, he's fairly high on our board, right? I want to say he's in the top 32 or something like that. So,
He is right next to B.J. Adams at 352.
152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152. 152.
Yes.
Harold,
Jake, real quick, what do you think about Harold Fanning? Because explain to me why I can't add him to the Musgrave Kraft trifecta of the best tight ends ever.
I can't explain it because I'll be honest. There some people who know. I've been a couple things saying like if Tyler Warren's available, I don't mind it at all. So
Right.
yeah, I'm in that same boat. Like if Loveland, did you see Daniel Jeremiah's board recently? Warren was 5th on it in the top 50, and Loveland was 7th. Like he's clearly in on these tight ends this year, and Phantom was getting work at fullback in some of the team stuff. Like they clearly value like his ability, you know, in terms of the movement skills, just finding ways to get him on the field wherever possible. Like he moves different for sure. And at 230, I mean, he's not going to do what Kraft does, right? He's going to be an F, a slot, even potentially, you know, maybe the H back if you want him to be. So I don't think that's crazy at all. Why not?
You got a little bit of that Bowling Green pipeline there too with Carl Brooks, right? Like
Yeah.
That may be a little link there. But
He is 25th on our board.
Got it. So he's 25th on our board. The consensus big board has him at 51. He peaked at 48. And above him on the board, you've got Colston Loveland at 20. He peaked at 17. And Tyler Warren stocks is as high as it's ever been, sitting at 15 on the consensus big board. They got him projected to go to the Colts at 14, Loveland to the Broncos at 20. And then obviously there's no projection yet on Harold Fanning Jr.
He's already climbed up 5 spots though, Clay. I put him in at 56.
Nice.
Wow.
So that's, I mean, I like to see that.
The comp that's been going around for Fannin is Isaiah Likely. So
really
an interesting one there.
Yeah, that's great. And again, it depends on how people feel about Musgrave, right? Obviously, he's got to stay healthy, but I mean, I got to be real. I was way more excited about the Musgrave draft pick than I was Tucker Kraft, and now I'm to the point where I'm like, man, Musgrave just hasn't clicked yet for me. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but I just haven't seen it, you know. So if you're going to try to press into 12 personnel, maybe that's why we pressed into 11 a little bit more. Once again, is that you just didn't like what you had in Sims and Musgrave. And honestly, I like Sims more than I like Musgrave. And I know I get roasted for that, but I feel like Sims has done what we've asked him to do, especially blocking inline. Got a couple of good reps on tape last year, you know, pancaking people.
Yep.
Just haven't seen that from Musgrave. So obviously it's not what his specialty is. But next you got Miami offensive lineman Jalen Rivers at the Senior Bowl. The Packers met with him. That's JALEN RIVERS out of Miami. Emilio, what do you got on him? 204. Jake, what about you? Anything on Jalen Rivers?
Yeah, a little bit down today, but yesterday was obviously the big win. Brugler doesn't tweet a whole bunch about the Senior Bowl, right? He doesn't get into kind of like oh, look at this clip, like, right? He's kind of more patient with his process. But even he yesterday was like, man, Rivers, he did everything they asked of him: right tackle, right guard, center, left guard, like. And he was at Miami. I was talking to somebody today who's been watching the Canes a ton this year. He goes, yeah, I mean, every drive they were switching him from guard to tackle. Like he was having to like not build a rhythm at all this year. He was having to switch positions every series. So he's gotten reps in the last calendar year pretty much everywhere you could ask of him. And thought the footwork and the hands were really impressive. They were mirrored a lot yesterday. Like it looked really clean from him. So wouldn't be shocked if he gets at least a little bump. Nice. For sure from this one.
And shout out to Eli Berkovitz that put that tweet out. Easton Butler just retweeted it. It's at Book of Eli _NFL. Make sure you go give him a follow. You're probably already following him if you're following us, I would imagine. So Easton Butler tweeted out the Packers met with Louisville cornerback Quincy Riley at the Senior Bowl. Quincy Riley out of Louisville. Emilio, anything on him on our?
We have him at 305.
305.
But
right.
We met with him, so now he gets the cheese. Cool.
Got it. Jake, anything on him?
Oh man, he's been awesome. He has been awesome. I was kind of hesitant because obviously you know like you guys, I'm like thinking about who are going to be Packers, right? And a lot of the talk with Riley coming into this week was, yeah, he's pretty small. He's probably going to be only a nickel. He's going to be sub 180. Is a lot of the things I heard, and then he weighs in at 192. He's going out there, impressive press technique. He's locking guys up. He really hasn't lost too many reps in the one-on-ones, which are designed for receivers to win. I've been really, really impressed. He's gone up against Higgins and Noel plenty. He is just, there's not much else you can say about his week other than like he is a massive winner. I think he's going day 2. I think it's locked at this point.
Nice.
Green Bay in the 50s. Take another 5'10", 190 plus corner from Louisville.
Yeah.
You never know.
Especially with kind of the cornerback room up in the air. And if you're going to play Keyshawn on the outside next year predominantly, not knowing if Ja's coming back, you're one injury away from, Bullard going down and them having to kick Keyshawn back to the slot, or even a safety going down and putting Bullard back to the slot. Although I think Kitano Ladapo will be way, way more prepared next year. Not that he wasn't this year, to obviously fill in at safety and keep Bullard at nickel in that nickel 4-2-5. Quincy Riley is currently in the 132 spot on the consensus big board. Jacob, do you got anything to add to any of these guys we've talked about? You just chime in, man. We're kind of going rapid fire here, but
Nah, I'll jump in if I see him. There's a few guys that we've already kind of passed, but we're good.
The other thing I'd say about Quincy is that when I was listening to that PFF pod, they said that he was just absolutely killing it in man, and that's why kind of last year, looking at his grade, his PFF 24, he was ranked 634, but he was 29th the year before, and I think they said that they switched from a man-based defense to a zone-based, and he just didn't get as much action this past year in Louisville. But he's a dog in those one-on-ones, like Jake was saying.
got it. Let's go to the chat real quick. B Time 10 says Jaden Higgins, Jalen Royals, and Mike Green get ready to go. Green Bay. We got to have that. See, that's where we need Tim in here.
Get ready to go.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
Jake, I need to get your take on this one first.
Duval.
I can't.
I don't know many.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that are more Caucasian than that cat right there.
Not many.
Any.
Listen, he went to the awards show. That's all I got to say for that award, right? Like he went there. He was a nominee, no doubt. So.
Man, unbelievable. Coach Lynn says, not sure if you saw him today, but Jackson Slater, interior offensive lineman from Sacramento State. Look at our boy Coach Lynn representing the West Coast there. Could be a late round steal, flashed a bunch today. Talk to us about him, Jake.
Yeah, I think with the small school guys, it's a little bit of an adjustment, right? Day one, you're kind of like, okay, what kind of power do these guys have? How am I going to use what the offensive line coaches are telling me and stuff like that? Like, kind of get more familiar with some of the techniques they want you to use out there. But yeah, he was at the very least, and again, it was, from the stands far away, right? Not the close-up stuff from NFL Network and ESPN that had on, but from what I saw, it was either he was great knee bend, drop an anchor, and kind of losing slowly with those little hops that you often see the lineman do, right? Where he's kind of like giving a little bit of ground, but not too much. I thought he did a great job with that. And as a smaller school guy, right, going up against, right, and he's in the later group. So you get SEC pass rushers all up and down that line, all day. And I thought he held up pretty well, especially in the ones. Like he looked like, there was enough, anchoring ability there to kind of handle anybody who came his way. So
Nice. Emilio, do we have him on the board, man? Jackson Slater, interior
Jackson.
offensive line, Jaxson, if it's spelled correctly there. Jackson Slater.
No, we just have Jackson Dart on the board.
Yeah, we might want to add him in. Sacramento State, obviously a smaller school, but might want to put him in. We'll try to run down a grade on him. Restrepo is another name that's been mentioned a lot. Restrepo's starting to grow on me, Joe says here. Little undersized, am I thinking right, Jake? Did he measure in at 5? But there was someone that measured in at 5'9", that I remember everybody was excited about.
yeah,
but
I
obviously
think both him and Jalen Noel are both 5'9". I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And they're both, I think, hovering around somewhere around 200.
Okay.
Maybe mid 190, something like that. So,
Yeah.
So pretty thick for a shorter guy, though, right? I mean, yeah, kind of like that. I don't know. I can't remember how tall like Percy Harvin was. I don't even remember how tall Randall Cobb was, but I feel like he was closer to 5'10", something like that. I could be wrong though.
yeah, Cobb's probably right in that
range.
wheelhouse. Yeah.
All right. Joe says, highlight from day 2 Senior Bowl. I said I was going to run through his face, so I ran through his face. Shamar Stewart. We've seen the clip. I think I've got it on my Twitter handle here too. We're going to go 2 for 2 on Aggie studs is what he says. So obviously, unless there was a transfer involved there, he probably did play with Edgerrin Cooper, right? Down there.
I would
Shamar
think.
Stewart. Yeah.
I was gonna ask Jake about him. I actually wrote a note. I mean, 6'6", 290. he looked like he did play a few inside A gap snaps, predominantly more like B and then outside tackle. Is he one of those guys that you see the Packers looking at his RAS, look at his size, and say, we can change him, we can put him anywhere, we can develop him into whatever you want to develop him into? Do you see that possibly?
Yeah, as soon as I remember reading someone's mock back in October, kind of as I was just getting the feet wet and kind of like looking at these guys. And he mocked Stewart to Detroit and said essentially the blurb was like, he's 20 years old, doesn't have a lot of production, but the traits are there. And I go, wow, that sounds familiar. Are you sure he's going to the Lions? So yeah, I mean, if he's available, which based on some of the dip and the work he can do around the arc at like, I think he weighed in around 6'5", 280. Which is eerily close to what Gary weighed in at. I think Gary was like 277 at the combine. So, yeah, I mean, with the lack of pass rush this year from Green Bay side of things, like if he's available at 23, I'm not sure it's anyone else at the top of the board than him. So,
yeah. Well, this is Daniel Jeremiah's mock, and he has us taking Stewart at 23.
Yeah.
Kyle Krabs had Shamar Stewart. Where was it? He had him go. Did he have him drop out?
Oh, he's 9.
No, yeah, he's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and this was Kyle Krabs over at the 33rd team. Obviously, used to be with the Draft Network. Emilio, tell Jake where we've got Shamar Stewart, because it's significantly lower. Am I remembering correctly? We have him. I want to say we have him outside of the top 50.
He was at 51.
Yeah.
But even on that pod, they were saying that he was unblockable, that he had, some of the best reps of the day, and that he had that strip sack as well. A guy that performs like that around, big talent. And like they made the point, you don't think about it. Everyone's there with their phone. Nobody wants to get roasted. Nobody wants to get absolutely just drove back into the ground. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst thing that could happen to your stock. And just doing it, repeatedly to kids is, it's good to see.
I've got to ask the question, Jake. Who is 52?
Who's 52?
That gets
that's right? Kansas. I think that's Logan Brown. If I'm correct. Brown.
Okay.
It's definitely Kansas. So there's a Kansas guy at the Shrine Bowl too, and I'm mixing the two up for sure, potentially. So
for every highlight here, there's a guy that rises, but there's one that falls. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a tough rep there, but it's just one rep. So,
hey, it happened more than once today. We could how the Oregon guy did against Mike Green. It happens. It happens. Just got to pick yourself up off the mat.
When I first started diving into all the data, all the information, Mike Green was one of about 7 that just bang. And I'm like, why is he so low on these boards?
Could have been Logan Brown.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. B. Timmy says it's Logan Brown. And coincidentally, he was a former 5-star Badger. So.
Wow.
Got it. All right. So biggest winners from day one of the Senior Bowl. This is from the 33rd team. Gray Zabel, offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. You got Anthony Belton, offensive lineman out of, I think that's NC State, right? Am I thinking right? Jalen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. Jack Besh out of TCU. Omar Norman Lott out of the University of Tennessee. And Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky. Emilio, looked up Anthony Belton for us real quick, offensive lineman. I'd like to know where we got him at, because I feel like he's pretty low. I could be wrong. And Jake, obviously you got these names if you want to say something about them, or if there's anyone else that just give us your takeaway from the Senior Bowl in terms of here's my favorite guys, just whatever you're taking away, man.
Yeah, I mean, Gray Zabel's certainly near the top of the list. There's no question about it. I know today was a little bit rougher for him in the 1v1s, but some guys shared some stuff from 11s from kind of the end zone view from yesterday, and you just watch him at center, you watch him at guard, just the quicks, he's just eliminating the linebackers when they're doing run game stuff. Like he is completely washing them out, getting the second level. And when he has to combo at the point of attack, he's done a really nice job. So I think the goal for NFL teams are going to be to play him on the interior. I know he's played some tackle. Hey, you know who likes those versatile offensive linemen, right? We're talking about them. They're on the thumbnail. They're in the corner, right? But he has done everything well that's been asked of him this week, no matter if it's pass protection, if it's run game, right? He has the edge as a physical player. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of what he's done. We talked about Riley a little bit. Like, I think he's been my favorite corner this week. And there was a lot. I was really excited about Porter from Iowa State and Azareye'h Thomas from Florida State. Like, he has been the dude, Riley has. And I think conversely on the other team, it's been Maxwell Hairston as well. And he's, a little bit thinner, right? He's I think 179 is what he weighed in at in Mobile. And yet his press technique, the patience that he plays with, he's got enough speed, to run with guys. Like, he has been really, really impressive, even on the boundary at the size. Now, I don't know if NFL teams are going to do that, but he has hung in there for sure.
Got it. Yeah.
No.
With Maxwell Harrison, obviously being a Kentucky fan, had a down year this year. If I remember correctly, he was banged up as well. But, yeah, when they said he weighed in at 179, I was like, oh, boy, this ain't good. And then all of a sudden you're hearing he's flashing. It's like, okay, maybe not, So, Emilio, do you have anything on Anthony Belton there, man?
Yeah, we have him at 163.
163. Got it. And they have him at 97 here. The consensus big board has Anthony Belton at, where are you at, sir? Oh, wow. Is he listed as a tackle, you think? Could he be listed as a tackle, Jake?
He could be, yeah. I mean, he's gotten a lot of work at left tackle this week, almost exclusively.
Let's check
He's
it
been
out.
kind of like not flashing, but like just doing the job. Kind of like just the lunch pail guy this week of like, yep, footwork, stay in front of guys, use the hands well, like good base. He's just kind of been ho-hum doing the work for the most part, which is, it's not going to be as flashy. It's not going to be as exciting. It's not going to be, man, I got ran over by a guy today or anything like that. Just kind of steady Eddie this week, which has been, again, really impressive for him. So
got it. Yeah, so they've got Anthony Belton in the 134 spot. Where did you say again, Emilio? We have him
at 163.
Okay. He peaked at 76, so obviously his stock has gone down significantly. They do have him listed as an offensive tackle on the consensus big board for what it's worth. So, all right, there's that. Let me see what else we had up here. We obviously hit the Shamar Stewart bull rush. God love that kid. And then I put this out here because I wanted to kind of test the waters. I honestly expected the majority of the vote to be no, but we now have 569 votes on this poll question. I said, would you be okay with the Packers trading out of the first round of this year's draft? 58.9% on Twitter said yes, and 41.1% said no. So let's go around the horn with that. I know we've kind of talked about it a lot on this show. Jacob, we haven't talked to you as much as Emilio and Tim here lately. What do you think about trading out of that first round? Do you think Goody's going to get crucified if they do it, man?
He'll get crucified no matter what decision he makes. So I don't think that's going to be the basis of his decision. But you guys know me. I'm Mr. Dollar General, Matt Marshalls, TJ Maxx. The more bang I can get for my buck is what I want. If there's a cluster of guys, right around that 23 area, I have no problem trading back. Especially like Jake's talked about. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, because it seems like in drafts prior, there was a lot of high-end blue chippers at most positions. There was just guys that you're like, you got to have them. If they fall to you, you have to pick them. There's just nothing else. And it seems like a lot more of middle-of-the-pack guys in this draft, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know, man. I really like Jack Sawyer. If that's available around that, I'd be very upset if we maybe were to pass on a guy like that. But, I just actually got into JT. Is it Tuimoloau or Tuimoloau? I don't know how do you pronounce it.
Tuimoloau.
Tuimoloau. Okay. And that's a guy where I'm looking at his stats and a lot of his production and his steady Eddiness and I'm like, I would love to have that guy too. So if I could trade back out of that 23 spot, maybe I risk losing out at Jack Sawyer, but if I can get a guy like JT or a Shamar or somebody else that maybe would fall and we pick up maybe a third or a fourth, whatever it is that we can, it was weird looking at the Packers draft picks and only seeing 7 picks for each round. It's like, what? That's not how we do it.
Greg Rice says team trade back. Big Tom says team trade up. We did the poll question in YouTube, and I expected this one. Our YouTube viewers, 56 votes here said 71% said yes, they would be okay with trading out of the first round. Only 30% said no. And I kind of expected it to be like that and then flipped completely on Twitter. I was pleasantly surprised that some guys are okay with trading out. Jake, the reason I asked that question, I want to get Emilio's take on it too. Daniel Jeremiah said that he's got a pocket of guys between 20 and 60 that are just kind of bunched together, right? With us picking 23rd, now obviously the draft isn't going to fall perfectly into place, but let's assume those top 20 guys are gone. How would you feel about trading back from 23? In this case, we're gonna put your feet to the fire here a little bit and say out of the first round. But I think we would all agree, hey, just trading back 3, 4, 5 picks if you can to pick up a little extra draft capital because you're probably getting the same caliber player. What do you think about that 20 to 60 breakdown there of Daniel Jeremiah?
Yeah, I think it makes all the sense in the world to move down. I don't think this draft, it looks like, there's talk down here about like, teams have 8, 9, 10 first round grades right now is all. And so, yeah, it kind of makes that like second, third, fourth tier a lot bigger. So yeah, if you don't end up with a Stewart or Mike Green, those guys go early. Teams want the cheap contracts at receiver. They go get McMillan and Burden and Igbuka and Golden early, and you're not interested in that. And you Walter Nolan maybe comes off the board before you pick, right? Like, yeah, I would have no problem even moving out of the first round because, yeah, I agree. Like if you get, like, imagine getting a bevy of picks in the third and fourth round because of your trade downs. Maybe they're moving Ja. I know maybe I shouldn't have said that on here, but like if you're getting a bunch of picks for that, like, I think there's going to be a lot of quality swings you can take. There's versatile old linemen to be had. Like, how about this? What if you trade out of the first, you're picking at like 33, 34 and you take Zabel as your first guy, right? Like maybe that's your first guy you go get, and then you go get, maybe, I don't know, throwing names out there, but like a Quincy Riley, a Mello Dotson, Azarie Thomas, 2 guys of those caliber on day 2, right? You could land one of them. You could go get the TCU kid, maybe Savion Williams, big, tall, fast, versatile deployment, and maybe you go land, a 3 tech, or maybe that's maybe what you do. Maybe it's trade down out of the first and Derek Harmon doesn't go in the first and you're able to take him at the top of the second. Like, I do think it feels, I don't know what you guys think. I would love to hear what everybody thinks about this. It feels like, because somebody recently told me that the Packers higher-ups were looking at O-line very intently throughout Shrine Bowl practices. If it's just like trenches early, spray cornerback later, and maybe find a receiver. Does that sound, with some trade backs in there, does that kind of feel like a pretty decent approach here?
I've got 3 needs at offensive line is what I'm seeing. I could see them taking 2, maybe 3 players at offensive line. I really could. Mm-hmm. Emilio, what do you think about it, man? Obviously, you've been down there in the draft board a lot.
I think that we have to build in the trenches. I think that you look at the teams that are excelling right now, and it's because they keep diving into the trenches. So I think we just got to stick to the plan and just keep chugging, and take those shots early. We got one that didn't get to play a lot this year in Morgan. We'll add to that. We'll have maybe another backup or 2 O-line, get another D guy. I'm thinking four picks in offensive and defensive line at least out of our 7. That's why I'd like us to get a couple trade backs and go. And you think about it, someone wants that first round 5th year option. Hey, they're gonna want to jump back in and pull that trigger. So that gives you a little bit. You wait it. They're waiting for somebody that they really like. He's still on the board for them. All right, let's do it. Let's do a deal.
Yeah. What do you think about the scenario where, like we kind of just talked about, almost like Jake referenced, where if they are that interested in the offensive lineman, I don't see a lot of really solid tackles that are going to make it out of that first, maybe second round, if you know what I'm saying. So if you see a guy, one, do you sit, pick him, or do you trade back if you got a couple that you have your eye on, and then maybe second or third, fourth round, you go. I love Alfred Collins. I don't know what you guys think about the interior D lineman from Texas, and they got him around like the 50-ish is what I'm seeing. If you could somehow get your offensive line and then come back around and get a guy like Collins to really shore up that defense, that's what I would love to do. Like Emilio said, like Jake said, trenches. The teams that are left right now, the teams that are going to go far in most playoffs is because they have got absolute just studs on both ends of the ball starting in the trenches. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, definitely. So here was a mock draft that I did earlier today just by myself, just kind of running through some exercise. I traded back twice. All right. And I typically don't like to trade a lot in these mock drafts because you can really bend the system, right?
Yeah.
I traded back from 23 to 26 with the Rams, and I picked up the 90th pick as well as a 6th-round pick. And then I traded back again to pick 32, picked up the 64th pick and the 132nd pick, and then also gave them that 90th overall pick in the 3rd round. And here's how the draft went. With the 32nd pick, I took Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, defensive lineman. And then Jake, the reason I thought of this, Jacob, is because you said, maybe go trenches in the 2nd round, right? Ariante Ursary was there. And to me, on our board, he looked solid for that pick. What do you guys think about that? Let me ask you this, Jake. What do you think about Ursary? Because I haven't heard a whole lot about him. Is he even at the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Game?
Yeah, he's here in Mobile. He when as long as, and a lot of these guys, it's kind of the same thing because the offensive line development in college isn't the best. A lot of these guys aren't striking very well. They're kind of, hugging, bear hugging, holding on, just doing whatever they can. But what I will say about Ursary is, for one, he played against Abdul Carter and hung on, even thrived at some points, was very impressed there. And for one and another, Ursary is going to help your run game. Promise you that. Yeah. Like even if they're kicking him inside, which it's a weird 1-to-1 comparison, but if you look back at like Daniel Faalele, who was also from Minnesota, who was also really, really big, it was kind of like, oh yeah, maybe he's tackle or maybe just kick him inside. Baltimore's kicked him inside. It certainly helped the run game at the very least. And maybe that's what some teams will be thinking. If not, I think he can stick out there with tackle and continue to get better, right? Green Bay's in a great position. Rasheed Walker's there. Jordan Morgan's also there. So yeah, I think it'd be a fine landing spot, especially because if he kicks in and can kind of give a jolt to the interior offensive line, I'm all for that, right? Help your young guy, help Jacobs, help Lloyd, if hopefully he gets on the field in year 2, right? Create some creases for those guys. I think would be great.
Clayton, too, it kind of fits the Green Bay mold because 2024, he had a decent grade, 77.5 on 691 snaps. But if you go back just a year to 2023, he had an 84 flat grade on 841 snaps. And he only allowed 1 sack in 2024, 2 sacks each in 2023 and 2022. So, guy's pretty steady, man.
Kind of that Jaden Reed approach, right, Emilio?
33rd on our board. Yep. He was 11th in 2023 PFF. So yeah, just a guy that was super good last year, pretty good this year, and just shows up.
Since you mentioned that, I did split screen when I did this this draft right here, and I was using our board and running it through that filter as I was drafting. Let's tell everybody where these guys are on our board if you don't care. Can we do that rapid fire? I'll read them to you, and you let's talk about where they're at. And I want to get Jake and Jacob's take on whether they agree or disagree with that. Walter Nolan, we got him at pick 32. Where is he at on our board, Emilio?
Walter Nolan is he is pick 16. Sorry,
16. So he's 16 on our board. And I know that's going to be way different than most people's board. Jake, what do you think about Walter Nolan being 16th on our board? Do you think that's way out of touch? And the reason I ask is because if I remember correctly, I want to say Daniel Jeremiah was fairly big on him, or was he not? Yeah, he had him at 17 to the Bengals, right? And then Kyle Krabs, I want to say he had him go, 31st to the Eagles. So we're obviously right in between there at 23. What do you think, man?
Please don't let him go to Philly. That's all I ask.
They do
Please
it
don't.
everywhere, Jake.
They would. They would draft him. They would. They'd pull the trigger on that.
100%. 100%. I think I agree more with you guys. I think he's going to be in my top 15. Okay. Just based on the high highs of how he can play, the explosiveness, how much power he can generate off of that. Like, yeah, he's a little sloppy in the 1v1s, losing balance a little bit. Sound familiar? Devontae Wyatt, perhaps.
Right.
But like, there's such immense talent there. Like, after Mason Graham, I think he's next in terms of interior defensive lineman. Like,
and he's
at 32, sign me up.
Yeah,
I will be fired up if that's the case.
He's just over 21 years old too, so that's just
Goody DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, Emilio, we've got him and Mason Graham with the same exact grade with like 6 qualifiers, right?
Right.
Like,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Exactly. And they're fighting it out too. They are down to 0.7. I'm sure I could push it out and get a winner for you, but I'd love to see that. And like you said, get them in the end of the first, still have that 5th-year option, pick 32 and go with it.
Yeah. Now, Ariante Ursary, I hope I'm saying that first name right, out of Minnesota.
We had him 33rd.
So we got him at 55. We picked him at 55, and he's 33rd on our board. What do you think about both of those numbers there, Jacob and Jake? We'll let Jake go first here, and then we'll get your take, Jacob, on Ariante Ursary.
Yeah, as I said, I think it would be a phenomenal ad simply because pass protection development, and as I think will immediately elevate the floor of the run game for your offensive line, because he is one of those few like you'd look at and go, yeah, he can just move pretty much anybody he wants to once he gets going downhill. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I like that.
Go ahead, Jacob. Anything you want to add to the Ursary?
No, I mean, just he's been predominantly almost exclusively left tackle. He's played a couple snaps at left guard, a few at right tackle over the years. But like Jake was talking about earlier, going up against probably his best opponent in Penn State's DN there, or edge, he had a 71.2. That was his 5th best game of the year, which, that's what you really want to look at when you judge whether or not this guy can hang.
Got it. Emilio, we took with the 64th pick here. I keep putting you on that. Y'all going, don't put my name on that right there. Zy Alexander out of LSU at pick 64. Where do we have Zy Alexander out of LSU cornerback?
We had him at 64.
So right on the dot. There you go. Jake, what do you think about that? Zy Alexander at 64. One thing I'm noticing about the mocks, and again, I know it's all tongue in cheek, but if you don't take a corner in the 2nd round, you find out in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you're kind of in no man's land, in my opinion, on the mock drafts. It just feels like every time I'm going, boy, got to reach for him. I'd have to reach for that one. Feels like they're in the 2nd round is kind of the sweet spot. But what do you think? And I was trying to follow Daniel Jeremiah's advice here and go 20 to 60, right? So we got 3 picks between 32 and 64. But Zy Alexander at 64, what do you think?
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of him to this point, I'll be honest. But from people who have, they talk about him as like about as good of a cover 3 corner as you're going to find in that sort of day 2 range, right? Just good fluid hips, right? To mirror stuff, to close, right? And I think he does a really nice job from a couple of things I've seen of not panicking at the catch point, right? If he's not in good position, he plays receiver and he kind of, does that thing. You stick the arm through the 2 receivers' hands and just kind of break up any pass you can. Like, I think he's very intriguing. I'm really excited to get to study him more.
Gotcha. Two-Tone in the chat says Zy Alexander has been terrible at the Shrine Bowl, so we need to go try to run down some of those comments there. It sounds like he may be struggling, if that's true there from Two-Tone. Appreciate that, buddy.
Which, again, what are you doing at the Shrine Bowl? Man coverage, right? 1v1s.
Yeah.
And as I said at the top, right, a lot of people think cover 3 corner, and
right.
So you won't be getting a lot of those,
Compare him to Quincy Riley, crushing it in man versus, more of a zone type corner.
Got it. All right, good stuff. Jacob, you got anything you want to add to Zy Alexander here, man?
No, I mean, I go back and forth with them, especially because, like we've talked about, if we draft him and he wears number 23, I don't got to buy new clothes, so that'd be dope. But other than that, I mean, he does seem like he goes up and down. The thing is, though, he hasn't allowed many touchdowns in his career. He's never allowed more than 30 receptions in any given year. I mean, and that's at LSU. I mean, he's going against some of the top wide receivers. So put him maybe in a smaller pond. Maybe he shows a little bit more, but it's going to be tough definitely in the Senior Bowl when they're just kind of isolating him like Jake was talking about.
Got it. All right. Up next, pick 87 in round 3. I took tackle Charles Grant out of William and Mary.
We had him at 56, which was 8 spots higher than Zy Alexander.
Gotcha. So there you go. 56 on our board. We got him at 87. You got anything there, Jake, on Charles Grant out of William and Mary? Obviously a smaller school, right? And that's gonna get noticed. But what do you think about old Charles Grant?
Yeah, from the limited stuff that I found on him, I really wanted him to participate this week. He didn't end up showing up, which was really unfortunate because you love to see those small school guys get as many reps as they possibly can. Some of his stuff is hilarious, honestly. Right? Like you have these kind of smaller defensive ends he's going up against, and he's just kind of tossing them around. Right? They'll like try to bull rush him, and he'll just kind of dump them on the ground, literally. So it's pretty funny to watch, honestly. Just to show you, like the PFF grades are accurate. Like he is truly dominating everybody in front of him that I've seen. And yeah, I think he's definitely built to play left tackle for sure. Again, you can always try things with guys, but I do think like he certainly has like the look and build to play left tackle.
Got it. And listen, if anybody has to hop off here at any point, you just go. You ain't got to say bye. I know we're going to go long. We typically go about an hour, 20 minutes, just so everybody knows. So, Jacob, Charles Grant out of William and Mary. Jake just mentioned kind of the PFF stuff, man. You got anything on him that you'd like to say, man?
I mean, just like Jake said, I mean, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what you could call 7 elite games this year. And I would love to just watch the highlight film. I mean, just to give you an idea, 90.7 2024, the run block grade of 89.9, pass block of 88.1, zone grade of 92.8. I mean, he's just as advertised. He's allowed 3 sacks his whole career. He's allowed 3 hits his whole career. He's allowed just over 22 hurries his whole career. That's 3 solid years where he played over almost 700 snaps each game or each year. Every single one of those snaps was at left tackle. So that's the only thing where it's like, where does he fit in on an actual Packers team? I don't know. But like Jake said, though, I would have loved to see him come out and show us like, hey, it wasn't.
And
what was
there
that?
He goes. He forgot to pay his electric bill, folks. That's what you get working at the Oval Office and not making enough daily. So, yeah, pulling up, Grant. He's consistent though, dude. 32 in PFF 22. He was 32nd, 42nd in 23, and 8th in 24. The only thing bringing him down being those board grades. Jacob, did somebody's wheelchair roll over your electric cord there? What happened, bro?
No.
All right. So go on about Charles Grant there, sir. I apologize. Somebody obviously throttling your internet there.
I don't know where I got cut off, but I was just basically saying, I mean, he is as advertised. I wish, like Jake had mentioned, that he would have came to the bowl and just shown what he can do against a wider talent pool, because at this point, he's just going to have that small school knock on him. So,
yeah, that would be my only pushback. So I was hearing them talking about Willie Lampke, Jake, and he's what, 5'10", 270, and he was handling some of those fellas.
Incredible, honestly.
And that's what I feel like. If you're Charles Grant, you want to be out there. If this dude's out there showing him that kind of stuff, man, from a small school, you got to do that. You got to put your name out there.
Yeah,
it's like your uncle throwing all the nephews around at the family reunion when he's had too many daddy sodas, right? Just tossing people around. The way that goes. This next one, I think Jake might be excited about. I don't know. He may hate him too. But round 4, pick 123, we got wide receiver Pat Bryant out of Illinois. Emilio, where do we have
114 on our board? 114.
Got it. Jake, you have the floor, sir. You don't know anything about Illinois,
right? You need a clutch game-winning touchdown. He's got you. Did that a couple times this year, that's for sure. But I think the one thing with Bryant is you're getting a detailed possession receiver, right? I think he's detailed in his approach as a route runner, and he's also really reliable in terms of adjustments, catching through contact, all of that. The one knock on him for the most part is going to be the lack of explosiveness. I don't expect him to run very fast at the combine. So that's the one thing. But again, if you want, guys who are going to give effort as a blocker, guys who are going to, 3rd and 8, can I go get you for a bucket? You absolutely can. So I do think that, it is a valuable enough add to the room.
No block, no rock.
There you go. What do you think about it, Jacob? You got anything to add to old Pat Bryant here out of Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the guys that I kind of lately have been. I'll be honest. I saw the 2024 grade in his size, and then I thought, yeah, that sounds all right.
What is his size?
He's like 6'3", 200 plus, and I don't know exactly, like Jake was talking about, how well he's going to run, but he does seem like that in spurts that the guy's got enough twitch where he can. I don't want to compare him to like an Alan Lazard, because I feel like he's more of a better athlete than that. But I mean, I would personally I want a big X that we know is going to run out there and just get people's attention. And if he is a little more athleticism to him, I thought that Pat Bryant looked really good. That's just personally.
Got it. We could pull the whole Jaden Reed thing, right? He runs slow at the combine. Just invite him in for a top 30 and tell everybody he ran a 4.4 and draft him, right? We're all good. That's the way that'll work. So up next, you got one of my favorite prospects of the draft. And Jake, if you know of any injury concern with any of these guys, just let us know that too. That's one thing that I'm definitely very, very ignorant with here with the draft. But Jay Higgins, linebacker out of Iowa, I feel like we're probably going to need two backers if we don't bring back Eric Wilson. I would like to see him just let McDuffie walk and maybe bring back Eric Wilson if you can on a decent deal. They're a nice team friendly deal if he doesn't have a whole lot of attention in free agency, seeing that he's flirting with the 30 years of age. But Jay Higgins out of Iowa at 132 in round 4. Emilio, where do we have him at, bro?
We have him at 89th with an 80 overall grade. Dude was consistent. Really
Yes.
consistent.
Jake, what do you think about that, man? Us having him right around the 80 mark.
Yeah, it seems like he's. I'm not sure. There's clearly like a disconnect, PFF rankings versus grades, which is totally fine. Like if you're doing your own, I don't know whose board this is built off of, right? The mock draft simulator, who it's using, but yeah, it seems like he's being undervalued. I know it could be kind of a light version of Jack Campbell, same school, right? Easy, maybe a lazy comp, but like these guys who maybe aren't like super fast, right? They're not running sideline to sideline. Oh no, they can't, sprint up the Tampa 2 with receivers, but he's instinctive in both phases completely. Like run game, coverage. He's sinking when he needs to. He's widening when he needs to. Like you can tell that he's locked in on the quarterback's eyes, locked in on concepts. Like he knows where he needs to be at all times. And if you're instinctive enough, you can overcome a lack of speed and explosiveness, right? Some of these fast guys, sometimes they don't know where they're going, to be honest. Run around with their head cut off, right? Like a chicken, right? It's just so when you have instinctive linebackers, it really, really helps your entire defensive unit. And with, how many guys Iowa, continues to send to the draft, he's kind of been there as like kind of the last guy holding the fort down almost of kind of the last, 4 or 5 years of the position. So yeah, I'm you could get him at 132. Sign me up. Sounds great.
Yeah, the consensus big board has him at 124. He peaked at 95, so he's obviously dropped since then, according to the consensus big board. Jacob, what do you think about Jay Higgins here at 132, man? What you got on him?
I would love it. I mean, just personally, if we could get him in there, like you talked about, I've loved what McDuffie has done for the team. I really love what Eric Wilson did for the team coming in as a veteran that really could perform very well on special teams and just in a pinch. But could you imagine if our starting 3 was Quay, Edge, and a guy like Higgins? I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, man. I mean, I don't even know where you'd want to categorize them as far as Mike, Will, Sam, Buck, whatever you want to call them. But as long as we got 3 guys, throw them out there, dude. I'm excited as all hell to see that. And I keep forgetting about Hopper, dude, because we could have something with him, man. I really do think that we're sleeping on Hopper.
Yeah. And again, this is just kind of running it through the filter of we'll probably need two linebackers to fill out the roster, right? So that's why I was trying to target a couple during this. But
dude, my internet's getting ripped apart in the chat. I tell you what.
Hey, man. Don't expect mature things from our chat. I'm just going to say that.
Hamster's going as hard as he can. I gave him steroids.
All right, let's move it along here. I'm going to save this mock draft so we can look at it later. But up next, we got Jonah Monheim out of USC center in the 5th round, pick 160. What do you think about him, Emilio? What do we have him at there?
We had him 80th. He's actually 10 spots above Jay Higgins. So that's a deal right there. Do we want to put him as center on the board or what?
I don't know, man. They've got him listed as a center on PFF. Jake, do you have anything extra on Jonah Monheim? Is he really a center? Do you see him as more just a guard? What do you think with Jonah?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's played several spots. I think he has played left tackle. He's been at USC a while, so he has played some left tackle. I know there's some guard in there, but he has been most recently at center. That's where he's been for I would say 95% of the snaps here in Mobile. And I think with Monheim, it's just getting him to play lower, right? There are so many reps, including in Mobile, where he's standing up out of his stance, like he's getting upright, and you're never going to win the leverage battle if you're upright. It's just not going to happen. So he did a really nice job adjusting, later in the day today against a couple guys in terms of kind of, knee bending, dropping those hips and kind of anchoring. But I think that's where he needs to get, more refined in his play. He needs to get a little bit stronger, but he is athletic at the very least. So
Got it.
I personally would love to have Jonah on the team. The only red flag, quote unquote, that I see is that he kind of did the reverse progression. 2022, he was an 81.9, 2023, a 75.9, and then this last year, a 70.2. But he's played solid, played most of those games every single year, tons of snaps. He's only allowed 2 sacks his whole career, only allowed 4 hits his whole career. And he played substantially. So like Jake said, he played 807 snaps at center 2024, but in 2023, he played 700 plus snaps at left tackle with 50 plus at right guard. And then 2022, he played 200, nearly 300 at right guard and almost 700 plus at right tackle. So that screams Wisconsin or Green Bay lineman right there. Versatile.
So he's at least going to get a V. Maybe I won't give him the C, but he'll get a V.
So he played his best football at right tackle, right, Jacob? That's what you're
Yes,
seeing.
sir.
There?
Yep.
So that's interesting, really interesting. So versatility, no doubt. Next, we have Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Indiana. Took him in the 6th round at pick 199. What do we got on him, Emilio? Where's he at on our board? We took him at 199 here. Jalen Walker, Jailin.
That's why.
Yeah.
We had him at 138. So I like that. He was super good in PF 22. He was 6th in the nation, 66 in 23, and 53 in 24. Really, the only thing bringing him down is where they have him on the boards.
Got it. Jake, what do you think about Jalen Walker, man? You got anything on him, the Hoosier out there at linebacker?
Yeah, another one of those guys that came over from James Madison when Cignetti came over. So, brought the whole team with him, essentially. But yeah, they used him a lot getting after the quarterback. I think he had like 24 pressures, 3 sacks this past year for Indiana. So kind of a guy that you like to operate around the line of scrimmage, be explosive, make some plays in the backfield. I think that's where PFF had him grading the best as well. Not that the coverage was necessarily a liability, but he was kind of at his best when he was working around the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Jacob, you got anything on Jalen Walker there, man?
Yeah, dude. This is a guy that was really interesting to me because he screamed. Who was the guy? Was it Carpenter that we drafted a few years ago? That was just kind of a guy. Was it Tyreek? Exactly. So when you look at Jalen Walker's size, it's like, where do we put him? He's 6'1", 218 as far as PFF has him listed.
Thick.
But
Not really.
grades, I mean, like he's performed, like Emilio said, 2022, he was a 90.7. 23, he was an 80.6 this last year, an 82.6. And like Jake talked about, this year they lined him up all over the place. He had 109 snaps at D-line, 117 in the slot, and then 454 in the box. He had a great, there you go. Let's go. He had an unbelievably elite game against Purdue, a 94.1. Other than that, he was just steady Eddie. He had 1 game in the 55s against UCLA. Otherwise, he played at least serviceable in every single game. So I don't know, man. And
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Had a coverage grade of 71.1, pass rush at 87.6, and a run defensive grade of 84.5. Let's go.
I could just listen to you guys describe prospects over Home Depot music all day long. You can do it. We can
That's
help.
for the Patreon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just talk about them for like a few hours. Just
Yeah.
set that in the background and put it up there.
So the final pick that I made was pick 202 in the 6th round, Kobe Bryant out of Kansas. A name that just keeps getting mentioned. Amelia, where's he at on our board? And we got the cheese logo next to him.
Oh, do we have? Yes, we do. He's 179, East-West Shrine game, and the cheese emblem. I mean, he's the one that's going to be lit up on the board. So if you're late in the draft, I feel like you're gonna kind of lean on those sort of things. If we met with the guy, we know how he is as a person. you you don't have time to meet with everybody. So 7th round, you're probably going to go with something rather than something you have no idea on.
Got it. Jake, what do you think, man? Kobe Bryant, how you feel about him? We got him at 202. You think that's good value? How do you see him?
Yeah, I think it's good value. I think the one thing, right? Give him some Uncrustables, sugar cereal, pancakes, whatever, cheeseburgers, all of that. 5'11", 171. So a little bit light out there at corner, but you watch him recover, you watch the closing speed, you watch him make plays at the catch point. Like, guy's just a ball player out there. If this feels like, later in day 3, stuff like that, where Green Bay could go, yeah, we like guys who are bigger, but oh well, he's a ball player, but we'll see what we can get out of him. So I do think this is where like they would take a guy who's well outside the thresholds like that, which again they break them for sure, but they like an overarching theme is they stay pretty consistent. But on day 3, I think they'd be more willing to kind of throw that out a little bit.
I'd like to sit here and pretend like that's why I made that pick late, but it wasn't. I just
it was.
Yeah.
But, Jacob, what do you think about Kobe Bryant here, man? Obviously, the name, you can't get any better than that, right?
Yeah, sure. I love where we were. If we were to get him at this spot, I do wonder why he falls so farther down than Mello Dotson. Do you have anything on that, Jake? Because if anything, I saw that Kobe would be graded slightly better.
Let's see. The consensus big board has Kobe at 136, and he peaked at 80. He's recently up 2 spots while out the East-West Shrine both. So,
I mean, I like both of them. So I don't know why Kobe Bryant's this low, to be honest, but I do think both have shown that they can hang with whoever's in front of them. So I'm not sure why he's 232nd on this one. When you have to almost take Dotson, I think in the 3rd round on this simulator. So I'm not sure why the gap's that big, other than like size, but like I don't know. That's a very team specific thing sometimes. Yeah. So
there you go. All right, so that was the mock draft I did earlier today. Got one question. If we got time, we'll do a rapid fire mock if you boys want to do it.
Yes.
Deadfish in here says, Jake, what do you think of Savion Williams from TCU? 6'5", 225, 4.45 40 time. Somewhere Tim just threw his fork down on the plate.
I think his range of outcomes is immense. On one hand, you go look at like, okay, is he just kind of speed plus gadget touches, and that's kind of where you want him to be. He's taking direct snaps this past season from TCU and just carrying the ball. On the other hand, there's kind of like a Adonai Mitchell plus yards after the catch explosiveness to him as kind of a high end for me. And I was like big on Mitchell last year. So like, I think he's wide ranging of outcomes, but like there's a ton of upside. Another guy I really, really wanted to see here, because I think, if we were sitting here talking right now and Williams was playing this week, he'd be like, yeah, so Williams ran 2 miles per hour faster than everybody else here at the bowl. He's got a little bit of a different gear out here. It would have been nice to see, but I'm thrilled because I'm sure he's going to be one of those guys when the numbers are in next month that the card's pretty green, I imagine. So,
all right, appreciate that. All right, let's do it, boys. Y'all want to hit a mock draft real quick? That sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's roll with it. Let's go. We'll try to go rapid fire. Emilio, if you want to work our board, maybe we'll get a little reference there on where we've got them. Obviously, we'll get everybody's input. We're going to do a 7 round. We're going to go fast here. Do you guys want to do a trade or no trade? What do you think here?
We trading Ja?
Oh, we haven't done this yet.
All right.
We haven't done it. All right, you're going to have to talk me through it, Jake, because I've not traded players on here. This is PFF. We can do it on PFF, right?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Let's enter the draft. We're going to start slow, and then we'll crank it up, okay, so we can make sure we get this trade in. So let's go ahead, start the draft. We should be on slow. We are. All right, let's go ahead and pause it, and let's make this trade happen. So do we have to wait and offer the trade when the
I think it's either before you start or when you pick. I think are the 2 times you can trade for him.
Okay, got it.
I think once you've started, I think it kind of prevents you, perhaps. But
got it. So we'll do it when we're on the clock. That sound good, guys?
Let's do it.
All right. Should we just go turbo here and just take it straight through our pick, or do you guys want to see who's available as we go? That can get really lengthy. I know. What do you guys?
It's
just wanna
turbo
go?
time.
All right, let's go turbo. Everybody's got things to do here. Jacob got to get back to his business tonight here. So pick 23. Here we are.
boy.
Let's go ahead and
Okay.
imagine that, right? So let's go ahead and try to trade Ja, right? Let's get that out of the way, don't you think? Let's see if we can do that. So let's see here. How do we do this, Jake? We just
So
wanna-
I think. Let me see.
Just go to select a player.
So yeah, you go to that select a player. Yep.
All right.
And should be able to find him.
boom. All right.
And it's just a question of like, who do you think is going to be interested, right? I've done this a few times based on like the salary cap and like, what teams need, corner. I've come up with both LA teams. Washington would be in that mix, actually. I know they just traded a bunch for Lattimore, but we can see it kind of didn't work. So maybe they might do something else.
Let's try Washington. You want to?
So,
All right. Let's see what happens. Let's ask for 29. They said, get out of here.
Get out of here with
They
that.
said 61. So we could get 29 if we add some draft capital. So what do you guys think? Would you like to try to trade away some picks and Ja to get up to 29, or do you want to try to go backwards with it here? What do you think? Jacob looks disgusted. What's wrong?
You guys know how cheap I am, man. I don't want to give up anything.
Good. Well, if you're cheap, you want the contract off the books, right?
That's true.
That's what
That
you
is
want.
true.
You want some of that.
I
base
got no
salary
problem getting rid
in
of Jair.
26, right?
I got no problem getting rid of
You know?
Jair.
I've kind of taken like a 3 and a 5 from some teams.
Okay.
For-
What
for
about a
the-
second and a 4 here?
Wow, they can do that. Wow.
They said they could give us the 5. See, now we're just getting greedy too, right? Well, I don't know. That's not a 5. Never mind, right? I don't know what these picks are. I didn't realize they had
I
some-
think that 147 is a 5. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
early 5. Yeah.
So we good with this 61, 147, and
Jeez.
247 for Ja.
Wow.
Jake said, "Yeah."
Wow.
I don't think we're getting I don't think we get all 3, but yeah, I'm down with it.
Emilio, you play Madden all the time.
I don't
What you
think
do?
they're
I
giving
think-
us this. I think they're going to stand ground on the 7th, or they're going to stand ground on the 147 and keep one of them.
All right,
think
knock
the
off.
7th.
Let's do that. Yeah.
All right.
There we
Try to
go.
make it realistic.
Now we can all sleep tonight, right? We're
Yeah,
feel
right.
better about this. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So, bang, it was accepted.
still
So we
get
got
the
an
pick, so.
extra pick.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll
so
worry
here we
about
go.
the cap and all that later on. Don't worry
Yeah.
about that.
No big deal.
We got a financial guy on that. He's working right
Yeah.
now. He's behind the
That's
scenes.
He's actually
Yeah,
at dinner with his wife right now. We're going to page him. All right, that's Tim.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
all right, here we.
He's like,
here we
you
go,
trade a
boys."
who?
Exactly. What are we thinking here, fellas, when it comes to? Oh Lord, look at that! Isn't that interesting?
Uh-oh.
That was pretty. All right. So we got Shamar Stewart available, edge defender out of Texas A&M, Armand Mimbo. Then we got Omarion Hampton. What I like to do is put all the needs in. So let's just throw in, since we've talked about taking maybe one wide receiver, let's throw in the offensive tackle, the interior offensive line, the corner, obviously now, right? That's going to be a need. I'm not going to list edge yet. I'm going to put 3-tech because, I think they want LVN to start opposite Rashawn Gary, and then we'll put linebacker. So here is the best on the board according to need. Should we throw edge on since it's a tier 1? And
Yes.
it's Shamar Stewart. We should.
Well, we know who's coming to the top of the board if we do.
Yeah, there he is.
Yes.
There
That's
he
what English
is.
Jeremiah said was going to happen, right? So what are we thinking here, boys? You guys call the shots. I'll just click.
I mean, I like Shamar. If I had to pick between Shamar and Scorton, I
We can
might
trade
go.
back too. Just keep at it.
Yeah. Might want to see who those 4 teams are calling up there.
Let's see.
I don't know how far. Oh my gosh.
No.
Washington, man. What's
The
going
poor
on here?
Washington
No.
is not going to have anything left.
Yeah, we just picked them apart.
They're
Right?
Turning
tapped out,
Washington
man.
into the Vikings.
Yeah, so
Here.
it goes all the way down to pick 38 if we don't take the Washington Commanders trade.
Oh,
So I don't like that. Me no likey that, Jan. Do we
that's
want to
far.
trade with the Commanders or no? What do you think?
Negative.
Nah.
All right, negative. All right,
And you're taking Membo. You might as well just ring the card up.
real? Where's Membo at on our board? Where's he at on our board?
Where's he at on our board? I mean, I don't even need to scroll. He's 12.
Wait,
He's
what
12.
number O lineman is he on there?
He is the second lineman behind Banks.
Ooh. Remember I put a little comment a few shows ago. Might be a little OT1 action. He got I don't know if you heard this. He got the stomach flu on
Dang.
Monday. So he hasn't been practicing all week, which stinks. That would have been real nice to see him because he would have been going against someone like Stewart and
Right.
guys like that, which would have been really cool. So
Got it. So what do we think of? Was it's between Shamar Stewart and Armand Mimbo. Now, Emilio, tell them where we got Shamar again. Is it 51? Am I thinking right?
Yes, he
So we got him
was.
significantly lower. If we were going, Jacob's upset.
It's
If
just,
we were going strictly off our board, it
Ooh.
would be hands down Mimbo, no doubt. Go. Oh, what somebody said?
Ooh.
Oh, what you got here?
we want to get Daniel Jeremiah's 7th overall player.
Who is it?
is that today?
Colston Loveland. No, it's
Oh,
Loveland.
boy.
Oh my God! Talk about melting down Packerland. Lord,
And I love Knight Jr. too.
Ooh, baby.
If we're talking about linebackers, I mean,
All right.
Trey.
Well, yeah,
Amos,
Knight
too.
Jr. just took a running back out. He flat tackled him today. We're not supposed to do that. So
He just
he's
Yeah.
itching for contact. He wants a game
All right,
to be
well-
here.
We're gonna go around the horn. Jake, you go first. Who's your vote here? Who would you like to have?
I'll take the heat. You want me? I'll take the heat from everybody else. My vote will go to Colston Loveland.
Wow.
Are you being serious with that or not?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Where do we have him, Emilio? Colston Loveland.
Colston Loveland is
Wow.
9th.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe.
Man, you talking about shaking up the draft. Wow, that's
dude. I guarantee there's
Talk
not
about
many
shaking
people.
up a locker room. I don't think Tom
Yeah,
would like
that's
that.
the thing.
Subscribers are leaving, man.
Hey, listen, I am not
You know?
tweeting this out. I'm not tweeting this out. Somebody else can tweet this out if we take a look.
Hey,
I'm not-
he might not win though. He might not win. But
All right.
I'm
I
team
figured I'd
trade
throw it
back.
out
To
there.
be honest, I'm team trade back.
With Washington, you going to abuse Washington again?
Not with Washington. No, I would put them in
Oh,
witness
man.
protection. We'll go with someone else.
You
All right,
want
so
to
he's
trade
taking-
out of the first completely, Jacob.
I mean, just look at the grouping we got right here. Other than the running back, I would take probably any of the next 10 guys. You know,
This is hilarious. Rapid fire.
I'm taking
yeah,
Membo.
we're still in the first round.
Okay.
Emilio,
Membo.
what's your choice, Emilio? And I'll be
Membo,
top.
man.
All right, I'll change my
Membo.
vote. I'll go Membo.
You go
If
Membo.
he's really ranked ninth-
I don't want your vote now, Jacob. What if I don't want it?
You
now?
better take my pity. It's not a pity vote. If you actually have him ranked
It,
ninth
kind of
overall,
feels like one.
All right, so we're going Membo. Is that good?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
All right, here
I'm
we
so
go.
confident in it. I got everybody behind me. That's great.
All right, so the Packers took Armand Mimbo with the 23rd pick.
Take
We're
your
on the
boy
clock.
Jack right there.
Emilio, your vote carries weight in the room right now. This is what everybody's saying. That's what everybody's saying.
They're
The
singing
ears are open right now.
See?
All right, let's go
Oh,
deep
look,
tackle. We'll go
Cameron
edge.
Williams is this is the worst.
All right, so we got Jack Besh sitting in the 56 spot. Jordan Birch, edge defender out of Oregon, sitting at 57. Tackle Cameron Williams. Jared Ivey. I want to say Jared Ivey's kind of high on our board. Am I wrong there, Emilio? Jared Ivey, edge defender out of Ole Miss. Ozzie Trapillo. You got Chris Paul Jr., linebacker. Alfred Collins out of Texas. He's sitting in the 63 spot. There's Ursery. We know we got a high grade on Ursery. Tyler Booker, guard out of Bama. We definitely do not have a high grade on him, but boy, scouts seem to love him, don't they, Jake?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Booker.
Yeah.
Ivy was 45th on our board.
Got it. All right, so who was it now? What was that, Emilio?
Ivy was 45th.
Okay, 45th. Gotcha. All right. Got to make a pick here, boys. Any position you want to see, talk to me here.
I'd go Besh.
You go Besh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
He's 81 on our board.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's a bit of a reach for us. What do you think about that, Jake? Would you go Besh here? Who you think?
Besh to me feels like a big slot when I watch him, and that's my only concern with going him here.
Yeah.
Ivy's interesting, right? 280 to 290, moves around the defensive line probably if you pick him.
Oh no.
Alfred Collins could be your one tech, right? If you want to, go that direction and on early downs, like
Look
Where
at
we got
that.
Alfred Collins?
Look at that guy. That's a beautiful score. Look at that progression.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Where do we got him, Emilio? Alfred Collins. Alfred Hitchcock
Collins.
Collins.
Was 42nd.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It does.
Hey, I'm just saying, I called my shot. I wanted to go interior offensive line and then interior D line. And this
Okay,
is
Jacob.
shaping
So
up
I'll
nice.
support you, Jacob. Who do you want to
But
support?
however, Emilio, we're also picking at 61 though. We picked up some
Oh,
picks. You know
man.
what I mean? So we got to be
That's true.
careful.
That's true. That's true. Some of these guys are going to be there, right? You see
I
the
think we
average
should
draft.
maybe hit an edge. I don't know. I kind of like our guy Ivy, man. Now that I think about it.
Alfred Collins is saying is going to be there at 63.5 is his
You would
average
think
draft
so.
position. So he'll be there at 61, right? So if Jared Ivey's the other guy, his average draft position is 61. He could possibly be gone. So what do you think? Jake, you make the call here. Do you want
Yeah,
Jared
good.
Ivey or Alfred Collins?
I personally, I would probably rather. Well, I think PFF still has Harmon way down there at like 83, right?
Yes,
Just
they
double
do.
checking.
Yeah, we can save him for
Now
later.
that's interesting.
Oh, so is
That's
Deion
interesting.
Walker. Deion Walker.
Yeah. So,
Are you saying
know.
trade back, Jake? Is that what you're saying right here?
well, I mean, I wouldn't hate that. There's clearly some offers on the table as
Let's
we're going
see.
rapid
Let's see how
fire
far
here.
we can trade
Oh,
back.
80? No.
No, ain't
No.
happening.
That's way
Get out of here. What do you think? You're fired. What do you think? All right. So, to me, that's who it's between, right? Is Ivy and Alfred Collins. Or Ursary. Where was Ursary? If we go 2 offensive linemen in first
No,
3
you
picks.
can't do that. We'll get murdered.
What do you mean you can't?
Anyway,
What's wrong with that?
Emilio, where do we got Ursary again?
Uh,
I know.
and he is 33rd.
What was it?
oof.
33rd.
33rd.
I mean, we might as well just overhaul the O line, build that wall up around Jay Love like we've been trying to do for a couple
Solid. Right?
years now.
Wow.
We're gonna really get roasted if we do that, boys. I'm just saying. Jake, you're making the call here. You're gonna make
Yeah.
the pick. To me, it's between Ivy,
Yeah.
Albert Collins, and Ursary.
Yeah.
My question to you guys is really quick. Would you, if we go Collins here, are we taking the 3 tech off the table in Harmon, or are we still interested in it?
That's a great question.
That's
I think
my
I'm
thing.
still interested
I
in
think
it.
so. I think yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Okay.
We don't have a true one tech, right?
I think you bring them both in
No,
and you
'cause
say compete.
Because
Yeah, I mean,
Slayton's a free agent, right? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, Membo's big dude at 332. Alfred Collins. Well, let's do it. Let's beef up the trenches.
Well,
Let's
Alfred
go
Collins, right?
I'll
All
take
right.
Let's
it.
go Collins.
Alfred Collins done. Got our 3 tech. All right, let's move on to 61.
Oh,
Who is
Oh my
here?
gosh,
All right,
Ursary.
so now we don't have to put D tackle on there, right? We're still going to throw O tackle. We're still going to throw interior offensive line. We're going to corner, obviously. We traded away Jair Alexander. We haven't drafted a corner yet. Somebody's going to hate
That's
us.
all right.
that's all right.
And linebacker. All right, here we go. Best available, Jordan Birch, edge defender out of Oregon. You got Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas. Ozzie Trapillo, tackle out of Boston College. Ursary's still there, boys. Wow.
I think it's got to be Ursary. Birch is 87th on ours. Ursary's like 40s. So
And this is what I was talking about. Like right in this range.
I'm sorry, Ursary's 33.
Right in this range here is I feel like if you don't take a corner, you really find yourself on the outside looking in for a corner. Guys, right now in this scenario, our starting corners are Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon with Javon
Cooking.
Bullard in the slot.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, Carrington impressed the heck out of me this year. But I'm just saying that's where we're at. But anyway, I don't want to sway anybody's vote. You guys let me know what you think. What I'm doing is trying to save my credibility for why I took Zy Alexander earlier in this spot.
Zone coverage grade. If
I'm
you
waiting
play
for Quincy.
Lots of zone, man.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Quincy later on. We'll get him. We'll snag him later.
It's
So-
true. You can get Quincy in like at 123.
Ooh,
Not to be like, we're totally gaming the system right now, which I think is hilarious. But that's, trading
we
with
can
the
trade
Bears.
back 12 picks with Chicago.
We're hearing a lot of buzz
All right.
about Royals and the wide receiver.
Uh-oh.
How about
That's what I was-
72? You know what? The Bears can come up. The 61, but we need Rome. We'll take Rome in that one though, if they're coming up. So
Let's put everybody back in here. real quick.
Royals is 73rd on our board.
Oof.
Some say Jacob doesn't like to read.
I
Clayton,
did.
what's the board look like with only corners?
Only
If it was just corner,
Mhm.
The thing is,
Just interesting.
yeah.
See
Cy
what the
Alexander,
names look
Maxwell
like.
Harrison, Azarelli,
Okay, see,
Thomas, Mello Dotson.
I feel like we could maybe skip one more.
Yeah,
know,
87.
Come around on 87 and maybe pick
87
up.
and 123. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
Yes,
possible.
You could go get Mello Dotson.
I really like Dorian Strong. What do you think about him, Jake?
Yeah, he was quick these first couple days. Like I was wondering if he was going to be able to roam with some of the quicker guys. He's been pretty good. His press technique's been pretty good because it's obviously the 1v1s, it's man coverage. So unfortunately he's kind of been owning Pat Bryant, which hurts me as an Illini fan. But
Right,
he has
right.
definitely
Where do
been on top of that.
Where do we
matchup.
have Dorian Strong, Emilio?
He is 140.
Look at his passer rating that he's put up against his. Look at 2023. He had an
5 behind
11.8 passer
Dotson.
rating.
All right,
Feels
well,
like there's a really nice tier because I think Riley's still there if you go lower,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
What
right
the
there.
heck? Okay.
Oh, now here's a game.
That's fine. Look at this. It's perfect. Look at the 2023 and 2024 and tell me that's not a player Goody would look at. Be like,
That's Jaden Reed right there.
yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
So
All right, so we're going to hold off on corner then? Is that what we're thinking here?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think it makes sense.
All right, let's throw everybody back in. The
I
chat,
think they want the
obviously,
wide receiver. I think they want Royals.
that's what it feels like, right?
I like it.
Let's look at it one more time here. Linebacker, everything on the board.
I say
Jalen Royals would be.
Irsay or Royals. That's what I think. Or Chris Paul Jr. Oh.
Where do we got Jalen Royals, Emilio? And then Ursery again. Where do we have him?
Royals was 73rd, and
Ursery was like 33rd.
Yeah, Ursery was 33rd.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, I would be totally down to just beef up the O line and say, all right, we're good for a year. We've pulled the trigger 3 times. We've pulled the trigger 3 times in the top 70 in the past 2 years. So I would be completely fine with that and just say, all right, you guys go battle. I mean, Rasheed Walker's a 7th round pick. I'm not mad at that. He performed well, but he's still. I mean, let's bring in some competition. Let's make people fight for it.
For me, it comes down to 3 picks here, and I'm going to get your all's thing. Ursery at tackle,
Mm-hmm.
Zy Alexander at corner, or Jalen Royals at wide receiver. If you had to pick between those 3, Jake, who would it be, man? Royals at wide receiver, Zy Alexander at corner, or Ursery at tackle based off what we've done?
I would probably say Royals. Quick note, I would probably take an absolutely absurd route here and just take Derek Harmon, shake up the D line, right? Let Van Ness start, let Gary start. Let's see, we need to see Wyatt Brooks. We need to see something. But so we're gonna add to the room.
Deion
right?
Walker? You'd
And
pick him
get a
above
little
Deion Walker?
nuts. Get a little nuts here.
Mm.
I would definitely take Derek Harmon above Deion Walker. Tim is not on the show tonight. Yeah. And he's going to go 76. So now's the time to go Harmon if you're going to. So is that your pick, Jake? Derek Harmon?
I would take Harmon here, but of the 3 you mentioned, I would lean Royals if we're going to stick to kind of those 3.
Okay. So it's between Royals and Harmon, guys. That's what we're doing here.
All right, let's go Harmon. Let's go Harmon, and then we can come back and take Trey Harris.
It's
All right.
possible.
Emilio, what are you thinking, man?
Ursery, man. We still are the foundation of that wall. We're still building the wall. I don't understand what the deal is. Our offense needs to protect Jordan Love. I think we had a problem when everyone got mad that my boy Glover was tearing it up in the game against the Eagles. So we need to rebuild.
Greg Rice says best available. Harmon, easy. Royals is nothing special. All right. Let's go.
Fish wants to take Harmon. Oof.
They're saying Harmon, man. They're saying Harmon. Let's go Harmon. All right. Let's do it.
Remember, we can.
Emilio, shake.
Everybody's kind of like, wow, you too many trenches early. Okay. Yeah. Go watch the team in the Super Bowl wearing green in 10 days.
Even better, go back and watch us play that team in the green.
Right.
And you'll
exactly.
say, oh, yeah, we could get better in the trenches.
Yeah. So
Derek Harmon it is, boys.
Oh my gosh. Hello.
Let's just take a turn. All right. Pick 87. Let's see. So we're not going with another defensive lineman, right, guys?
No, but we could have gone with Ursery.
Oh my god.
All right. Interior offensive line, we're going corner, and we're going edge defender, and we haven't even looked at linebacker yet, right? So Isaiah Bond, wide receiver out of Texas. Tez Johnson.
I
and
wish.
he's
That's interesting.
tiny. Jake, that's the guy I was thinking of. That's really, really undersized,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he's
Well-
156. That's what he weighed in at. I'm not kidding. So
156.
yeah, 156 official on the Senior Bowl Twitter. The graphic is there.
That sounds
That's
messed
a
up.
little boy.
Yeah.
Not
No.
thick.
That is crazy, man. That's crazy.
It stinks because like if Bond was just consistent, like down to down, he wouldn't be here. He moves different. He moves so different, but he's so inconsistent, and you don't want that. You don't want him jumping up at the catch point when he doesn't have to, kicking the ball out of his own hand. Like we can't do that. But like, man, yeah, if he wasn't 156, I don't think it would be a question. He has been so good though. Like technically, like he went up against Zaire Thomas yesterday, and Thomas tried to press him. He swatted the press away, stacked him, and then shook him at the top of the route, runs the out route, and Azari Thomas fell over. Like,
That's David and Goliath stuff.
yeah.
Joseph says, if many are Detroit take Tez, I'll die.
Wow. Please don't. Please don't.
Calm down, Joseph. Please, we want you around.
I don't think those two are going to take Tez. I don't think you have to worry.
All right, so what are we thinking here, gents? So
Tate.
far, what is it?
Get our boy Tate 61st on our board.
You like
Is he
Tate
still-
Rutledge? I was gonna ask, but dude, you gotta get Mello. Something, right? Don't you gotta get Mello?
That's the thing. Like, let's clear the board and just go corner. We still haven't taken a corner, right?
Aye.
Mello Dotson. Where's Mello Dotson on our board, Emilio?
140.
140. So
You sure?
135.
There you go.
what about Denzel Burke out of Ohio State? Denzel Burke corner.
I think that graphic shows you a lot of what people think about Burke.
185.
It's very up and down.
Yeah, he's
Week to
185 for us.
Okay.
Like if
got
you
it.
built, would be interesting for you guys is to kind of build a consistency grade. If you like had like a ranking in terms of consistency, because I think that might put Burke down even further than where he is. But that
once
would be
we get-
interesting.
Once we get Daniel Jeremiah's information in and also the 33rd team's info, it's going to really balance
Yeah.
everything out, I think.
Yeah.
But if we're going to go corner here, it's probably
Dotson's
Mello
nice.
Dotson, right? So
Yeah.
how do we feel about that? He's not going to
I'm
be
not
there.
opposed. I mean, we just talked earlier, right? He's a cover corner. Ideally, our defense would have been 3 high, 4 under. We didn't play a lot of that. Are we okay with him playing just a shell 3 look? I'm not opposed to that at all. Yeah. So if we're taking a corner, I'm behind Mello.
Yeah, this is probably that dude if we're going to do it right. You still got Quincy Riley down there that obviously Jake's been talking about.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant too. No, toward the bottom. That dude's. I don't
What do you
know.
think about Jason Marshall from Florida, Jake? Have you seen anything about him? Wasn't he another guy I thought that had a better? Well, nah, he's just more steady.
Yeah, he
Eddie.
just missed some games, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is all this year. There was a lot. I mean, he's a lot of talk. I think he was a high recruit. I have
feel
an
like we gotta
insane.
go
I have an
Mello.
insane take here.
Let's hear
Oh,
it.
If
boy.
you completely clear the position board,
And quarterback.
oh
No.
no,
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Rourke.
The guy at the top there. Listen, I know Marshawn Lloyd. You're hoping to get stuff out of it, but like if you stand pat,
Jeez.
if you stand explosive playmaker, don't have to give him a bunch of carries. That's what Ohio State did. They let Judkins take the heavy load. And let this guy hit home runs.
Wow.
Man, if
Am
we
I
take
insane?
running
Yeah,
back-
probably. But like, sometimes
what
you
do you
got to
think
be a
about
little bit
running back?
insane, right?
Greg. Oh
Jake-
my.
Jake, what's your home address? Chat. What do y'all think about taking
No.
a running back?
Yeah.
Now listen, he's
I-
a stud though, man. There ain't no doubt.
50th on our board.
Oh, look at this. It's gonna sell me.
50th.
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 And
I'm
he
just
said-
saying, man. I'm just saying.
PFF 23, he was 16. PFF 24, 25. Big board 76. Consensus 68.
Greg Rice said that running back room more crowded than Crowell's West on game day, baby. I mean, we might run a little wildcat. Just tell Jordan to take the day off. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what about this though? Also, kickoff returns. Sounds like we need that.
Yeah, Keyshawn's quarterback one, boys. He ain't returning
Just
this year.
saying.
So, what are we doing, boys?
The other thing Greg Rice brings up too, he goes, so we're going to give up 40 spots just to take the best cornerback? It's a good point.
I still think would take our boy Tate. He's
Man, you really want to build that wall, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I want to protect our boy Jordan Love. We had a problem with our. Do we not remember what was it? The first Lions game where they were just in our backfield the entire time. I mean, I want to fix that.
I'm going to blow your mind here, though, Emilio. Where do we have Tate Ratledge on our board?
Tate, our boy Tate is 61.
Oh, is he really? Okay, 61. I was trying to say because there was someone else that I really like down here at offensive line. I thought maybe not. Okay, I'm okay with Tate, but whatever you guys think, what are we doing here? Let's do it.
I thought you liked Cooper from Minnesota, didn't you, Clay?
From Minnesota, Cooper,
the guard.
Oh, Tyler Cooper.
Tyler Cooper, yeah.
He's pretty far down though, right? 132.
Okay,
pretty solid.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I like Rutledge. You're kind of selling me on Rutledge, man. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Tate Ratledge. What are you thinking, Jake? You good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it. You know where I stand. We had a conversation already.
All right, we're gonna go with Jacob and Emilio here and go Tate Ratledge, boys. We're done with offensive line now, right, boys? We're done with
I think we're done with the trenches in general, probably.
Torrey Horton, sign him up.
Jesus, tackle, defensive line guard. Let's go.
I mean, trenches.
Beef it up, baby. Beef it up. This is why.
It maybe not be flashy to some, but like I love this.
Yeah.
Love this.
I say we go Torrey Horton with this pick. What do you think about Torrey Horton, Jake?
Ooh, wide receiver Torrey Horton.
Yeah, there's some vertical ability there. Wouldn't mind it.
Dang, where do we have him at all? Where's he on our board, bro?
He's got look at those back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons.
71.
That's good 71. Value here, boys. Good value.
Did you see that when you go to the graphic? Usually they have the dots, right? His yards per route run clearly doesn't even fit on there.
Out of here.
Or I guess maybe some of it's just not there, but like 3.45 yards per route one is nuts.
6'3". Let's go. Boys, hey, I'm on board with Torrey Horton here. I don't know about you guys.
Do we need to address corner though? Do we kind of like?
Oh yeah.
Are we kind of like getting? Are we kind of getting nudged? Kind of like, you guys.
Is Quincy there?
Dorian Strong still there.
Oh,
Quincy's still there.
Quincy will be there at 147.
Tommy Hill. Oh, and Jay Higgins is there.
He may be there at 160. Jake.
He might. Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you want to do it, I'm not opposed.
What are we thinking here? Torrey Horton or what?
At wide receiver.
I like him as more consistency over Pat Bryant. That's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think there was another edge too. I know Josh Joyner's on there. He's like 6'5", 265 and probably fits. I think maybe Powell Ryland's lower than I thought, or he's just gone.
He's got Ricky White still there.
Powell Ryland can't be this low.
Yeah, he's gone.
He must be gone already. He's got to be got it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward Torrey Horton again. He's in the 80s on our board.
71.
71. That's good value.
Go.
Yeah. Here we go. All right, round 5. Here we are.
Jonah.
No.
So now we can keep off the trenches and wide receiver. So we're just going to add corner, and we're going to add edge, and we're going to add linebacker. Right, Cody Simon out of Ohio State, linebacker. Quincy Riley is there.
Take our boy.
Can you check Noel Williams real quick?
I'd be down for this too,
dude.
Where we got him at, Emilio? NOHL
193.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so we got him a little bit.
He had a really good last year. Struggled in 22 and 23. He was 300s for both.
So what it comes down to, if Quincy Riley is our corner that we've been eyeing, do we risk it to 160, or do we take him now, or do we try to trade back from 147? We can go to 155. That makes you feel a little bit better, right? What do you guys think about that?
Honestly, I would have no problem taking both Riley and Williams back to back if you can make it happen.
Okay.
Just to kind of the chat is like going. Chat's like, man, we're gonna get cooked every play. Not if Harmon and Collins are in the backfield so fast. So
you're saying we could go Noel Williams here and then potentially Riley next. Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Yeah, Williams is higher on ours than Quincy Riley.
I'm
Wall
down with.
is 193.
I've got us needing at least 3 corners, and we haven't drafted one, so I'm cool going back to back here. Let's do it. Let's go Noah Williams first, and let's
Please
pray
be
to,
there.
pray to Jesus. That
Please.
Quincy's there. You ready? Pray hard, folks. He's gone. No, wait, maybe not, maybe
Wait.
not. He's there. We're
Oh,
Let's
I'm
go.
never doubted it one time.
whew,
All right, so we're going Quincy Riley again here, right?
Yep.
that's good.
Bang. So we got the corner taken care of, and we got 2 picks left here, and we're going to take
Linebacker.
Graham Mertz, quarterback out of Florida. I
Yes.
see here we got corners
Yes.
good, so we just need edge and linebacker, right, boys? That's it.
Yeah.
As far as needs, Jalen Walker, my boy from Indiana. I'm just saying, those are good grades there. What we looking at, Emilio? Where's Jalen Walker out on our board? JAILIN.
He is 138. I really liked him. Yeah, he's consistent for many years.
Put him on
So
the
we're getting-
board.
We're
Ooh,
getting him at 199. Or is anybody opposed to taking Jalen Walker, other than Johnny Walker Jr. having the best name in the draft?
I will say,
Let's see. There was
If we're
another guy that we liked. a
gonna
lot.
look edge. I know the Boise State kid had a pretty good Shrine Bowl, and he's up there near the top.
Right here,
Yeah.
Ahmad. Oh dang! Where we got
Like,
him at? Emilio?
No,
AHMED.
let me check his measurables too.
I don't have him on the board unless I spelled. Wait, how do I spell his last name?
Hass.
No, we don't have him on. Don't have him
All right,
on.
I'm
the
gonna
board.
write him. I'm gonna write him down so we can add him. All right, HASSANEIN. First name Ahmed. All right, so
He's
Um,
6'2"
do
and a
we-
half, 273. So they're big
Dang,
dude
he-
on the edge. Yeah, so it's pretty close to what PFF had there.
thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Mhm.
My pick here would probably be Jalen Walker. What do you guys think? Though?
Same.
Yours would be too. Okay, what do you think? You can tell me and Emilio spent a lot of time in the same board here. We're like seeing the same thing according to our board. It's liable to be the suckiest board on the face.
We're
of the
gonna,
planet.
and we need to replace some of the, some of our special teamers. We're gonna have guys going in and out. You got to take that kind of size. After you dive so much in the trenches, you got to find somebody around that weight class to run up and down.
Yeah, and we got 2 holes for linebacker on this team, right? If McDuffie and Wilson both walk in free agency, then I really do feel like you're going to have to. I mean, how many times did we get down to our 4th linebacker this year, right? It happened all year long, it felt like.
Mhm.
So,
I'm cool with Walker.
What else was there at linebacker? Just a little mini
you
scroll
got,
down.
you got
just for a second.
Walker, you've got Bernadelle, we've got Greg Penn III, we got Aaron Smith, we got Teddy Buchanan. Why does that name ring a bell? Lord have mercy.
Ooh, look at
Where
that.
do we have
Calgorithm.
TDYE.
Interesting.
How did you know that name?
He is 192.
Okay, 190.
He's actually he was one above Noah Williams, who was 193.
We'll say
Hey,
fast at the Senior Bowl was Nicholas Martin. Dude was just chasing everybody down from Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah,
He's been chasing guys down. Interesting pass rusher, sort of
yeah.
here, but he was doing some good stuff. And then Eugene Asante, who's also I think right below him.
Mm-hmm.
That dude wanted to hit a ton.
Another pass
today.
rush there too.
Punched a couple of balls out in team. You talk about like the energy bringer to a practice. Like, dude
All
was
right,
crushing it today. But
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger on Jalen Walker.
all right, nice.
Do it.
Do it.
Got linebacker Jalen Walker now pick 251. The only real need we have is linebacker. But we can kind of look over the board here real quick, see if anybody.
Ooh, I like Drew Kendall.
Yeah, Emilio, where do we have Drew Kendall? God, we've got so many offensive linemen.
That's the offensive line.
True
Drew
center.
Kendall, center or interior offensive lineman there.
162.
It's good value, right?
Yeah, it is.
Good value.
What about
Nazir-
Nazir Stackhouse? Yeah.
That's crazy. Nazir, I remember last year, Jake, going into the college season, Nazir Stackhouse was like, this dude's going to be a first-round talent, right? What happened, bro?
Just not doing enough as a pass rusher, and I think PFF agrees there.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I think it's just, there's promise there for sure. But but yeah, I think.
It's interesting.
Oh, he's
We
moved
have him at
around.
two-
Little A gap and B gap alignment both for
Yep.
Stackhouse. So
237 East West Shrine, and Packers met with him.
There you go.
Packers did me with him. Okay.
Joshua Gray. I remember seeing that name.
ooh, I got it.
What you got?
Where? Montana State.
Oh,
baby.
right there.
Oh, my
dude.
Gotta do
Weird.
it. Gotta
That's
do it.
right.
Do it to him. Do it.
Emilio, where's Marcus Weir on our board, bro?
Do it to
Listen to
him.
this. Somebody come listen to this.
Weir
Hey, we-
is 180.
180. That's good value, boy. It's almost 100 spots, right? Yeah. Marcus Weir. We're doing it.
Do it.
I'm
Dude,
fine.
We're going to be
Let's go.
lining offensive linemen up to return
Let's
punts.
go. Let's go.
All right. We're going to get roasted for this one, boys. I'm not tweeting it. Someone else can. Here is the draft in its finale.
I like it. I like this draft, man.
Tackle Armand Membo with the 23rd pick. The 55th pick, we took defensive tackle Alfred Collins. We traded back. We traded Jair Alexander for pick 61 and pick 147. All right. So with pick 61, we basically traded Jair Alexander for Derek Harmon and Noel Williams. All right. That's interesting. Pick 87 in round 3, we went guard Tate Ratledge. Pick 123 in round 4, we went wide receiver Torrey Horton. They love that pick, by the way. PFF did. Again, Noel Williams was a part of that Jair trade. We took him with pick 147, round 5. Quincy Riley out of Louisville, cornerback, pick 160, round 5. And then Jalen Walker out of Indiana, linebacker, round 6, pick 199. And then probably my favorite pick of the entire draft, Marcus Weir, round 7, 251. You think he'll last that long, Jake?
No,
No,
probably not. Probably not. But it's fun right now to do. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Right? It could be. He could get the small school tag kind of tabbed on him, but and I think he might have measured. Hold on, I have his measurements. Yeah, 6'2" and 5'8", 298. So get him
That's
some
good.
Uncrustables, some cheeseburgers, right? Get him up to 300. But
Hey, have him watch film over at Culver's. It'll be good, bro. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Just
That's
have him
right.
talk
Yeah,
about
get
that.
Tucker Kraft to take him to Culver's a few times, right? Being from the FCS, right?
Right
There's a
there. That's
good
what I'm
bond
talking
there.
about. Hop in the back. We'll go over to Culver's.
Yeah, we're going. We're going.
All right.
Yes,
That's
I
it.
like it.
Listen, we went an hour 46 minutes. Other than the
Oh,
draft, this
man.
was our longest episode. This is fun though, man. This is good. So that's it.
We
Any
did-
parting thoughts, gents? Parting thoughts.
Tweet it. Can't wait to see what they say.
I want to see it.
You
Dude,
better.
tweet it. Come on.
I'll
Come on.
tweet it.
There you go.
I'm gonna tweet
I'll
it out.
tweet it.
Just put deactivating the Twitter account.
No, just say tweet, just tag me in it and say he made us do this.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what you
It's
can
just
do.
Jake Shavink's
That's fine.
dream draft.
Yeah.
Got it. We'll get on.
He also wanted to take a running back, but we said no.
Yeah, say
right.
it. He almost
That's
got
what you
me.
should say also.
We're
Dude,
trying
you
to build the trenches, build the offense, build the defense. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
we
the
got
tip, though.
all right, check our boy here. My favorite draft so far.
Eric Sutherland is in the bottle tonight. There's no two ways.
Wow.
I was gonna say, yeah.
In the bottle tonight. I'm sorry, Eric. I got to do it to you.
Sit your butt outside.
That's it. All right, boys. Anything else? We good?
I'm going to bed. That was a long draft.
I'm going.
Get ready to go.
I'm going to sleep on my couch because I promise you, Mandy is mad right now. So
Oh yeah.
have a wonderful evening. We will see you tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambo. Jake, it was a pleasure, buddy. It's good chatting with you. Been through
Yeah.
a lot.
Always, guys.
Absolutely.
It's a great
All right,
time.
you enjoy that sunshine down there too, man. I know it's supposed to be beautiful, right? Pretty much most of the week, right?
Today was even warmer than they said. It was 71 and the sun was beaten down today. Luckily
Nice.
the sunscreen was packed this time. So, but yeah, the weather's been great. Football's been awesome. So
Heck yeah, man.
great week.
It's ramping up, guys. We got the East West Shrine Bowl tomorrow night. We'll be live during that for about an hour and a half. We'll kind of give you guys some updates as we go along. Don't forget the watch party for the Senior Bowl on Saturday. We're going to be in here doing that. And, we'll see you in the morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Time for Good Morning Lambo. Emilio, sir, have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you for working the board. Appreciate it.
Duval.
All right, that's just so
You're
great.
welcome.
We'll see you all later. Bye.
And we go.
All right.
Bye, guys.